Title: My wife went on a girls' trip, but she forgot her iPad at home. I opened it just to clear notifications and found her live streaming with another man in our hotel suite. I didn't say a word, but that night, I checked into the same hotel and booked the room right next door. What happened next changed everything, and I have the footage. I'm Adam, 34. Just your average working guy with a decent job, a suburban home, and a wife I thought I could trust with my life. We've been married for 7 years, met in college, fell in love fast, moved in faster. Back then, she was all about loyalty and partnership. At least that's what I thought. My wife, Clara, was the type who'd kiss me goodbye every morning and text me good night before sleeping, even when she was just in the next room. She worked part-time as a freelance designer, which gave her plenty of flexible time. Me? I was doing 9 to 5, trying to build a future for both of us. Everything felt routine, predictable even. But sometimes predictable is just a mask for what's hiding underneath. One evening, she casually dropped it over dinner. Me and the girls are planning a trip to the coast, just for the weekend. No boys allowed. You'll be fine holding the fort? I said sure. Why wouldn't I? She needed space, right? Time with her friends. I even helped her pack. What kind of husband wouldn't? The next morning, I dropped her off at the airport. She kissed me on the cheek, smiled like everything was fine. I went home and cleaned up. Her iPad was charging by the nightstand. I figured I'd clear notifications so it wouldn't beep nonstop. That was it, just a tap, but that one tap changed everything. At first, I saw Instagram open, then the DMs, then the gallery, recent photos, not of beaches and cocktails, of her in a hotel robe, not alone. And then I noticed something blinking. She was live streaming. Live. Right then. She was laughing, lying in a hotel bed, with a man I didn't recognize, champagne, background music. The room looked expensive, but it wasn't just a hotel room. It was our favorite hotel suite. My heart stopped. My hands? Ice cold. I didn't throw the iPad, I didn't call her, I packed a bag, I booked a flight. I checked into that same hotel, and I chose the room right next door. I could hear them laughing through the wall. I didn't knock. I waited, I watched her stream end, I listened. The next morning, I paid the front desk extra. I needed access to the cameras in the hallway. I gave a fake story about theft. The manager played along. What I got was gold. I watched her exit that room, laughing, holding his hand. I followed them for the next 2 days. Not stalking, no, just documenting. He wasn't a stranger. He was her ex. I recognized him from old college pictures she kept hidden away in a folder named Archived. It was deliberate, planned. She'd been texting him for months. I didn't confront her yet. No. I wanted her to see what it felt like. When she came home Sunday night, I greeted her with roses. Told her she looked amazing. She acted like she had a sunburn from the beach. There were no beaches in that hotel city. I waited 3 more days. I emailed her the hallway footage. No text, no subject line, just the file. Within minutes, she called, crying. Adam, I can explain. I hung up. I filed for divorce quietly. She tried calling my parents, my friends, even her friends, but I'd already shown them the footage. I gave them the truth. Some said I was cold. Some said I should have confronted her in person. But here's what you don't know. That hotel footage? I sent it to her boss, too. She had been planning to leave me, but was also lying about freelance work. Turns out, she used my credit card to book everything. Fraud. A week later, her girls' trip friends called me. They were never invited. She faked the whole thing. She even created a fake group chat on her iPad to make it seem real. All this time, I thought I knew my wife, but I was living with a stranger. The last time I saw her, she was in tears outside my office. Just talk to me, she begged. I looked her in the eye and said, You already did all the talking on that stream. Now, I live alone, and I sleep better than ever. 2 weeks after that moment, the dust had barely settled. I was adjusting to the silence of my apartment, the lack of her presence, the ghost of routines we once shared. Then one Tuesday morning, a package arrived. No return address. Just my name in rushed handwriting. Inside, a small wooden box, a note taped to the lid. I wasn't the only one lying. See. I froze. Inside the box was a tiny black flash drive, unlabeled, and a faded photo. Me and Clara, but torn in half. Only my side remained. Heart pounding, I plugged the flash drive in. The file opened into a folder with 5 videos, each titled only with a date, all months before the trip, before I had even suspected anything. I clicked the first, grainy footage, hidden cam in our living room. I saw myself, but I wasn't alone. A woman, not Clara, sitting next to me, laughing, leaning on my shoulder. I paused it, mouth dry. I didn't remember this. Second video, same woman entering our house with a spare key. Third video, a kiss, blurry but undeniable. My heart cracked open. What the hell? Then it hit me. This wasn't security footage. This was Clara's footage. She had been watching me for months. The memory came crashing back. Months ago, after a night out, an old friend had stayed over, Amanda, from high school. We were close, too close. I had convinced myself nothing happened. I barely remembered it. But the footage told a different story. Clara had found the clip long before the girls' trip, and she never confronted me. Instead, she plotted. She waited. She made sure I watched her betrayal just like she had watched mine. In silence, suddenly everything clicked. The live stream wasn't accidental. The iPad left on purpose, booking the same hotel, her idea. Leaving hints, her game. She had crafted the whole play as revenge, not just cheating, calculated performance. She wanted me to feel what she had felt. She wanted me to catch her just like she caught me, and I did. The next day, another email, just a single sentence. Now you know we were both wearing masks. And that was it. No more calls, no more visits. She vanished from my life. Without forgiveness, without fury. Just a clean cut. It's been 6 months. I walk my dog in the same parks. I sip the same coffee. But everything tastes different. I was betrayed, yes. But I betrayed her first. Not in the way I thought, but in the way that matters most. Neglect. Emotional drift. One blurred moment. Now I don't check devices. I don't guess passwords. I just sit with the silence. Because sometimes, the loudest betrayals come from the quietest truths. 3 weeks ago, I was sitting alone at a bookstore cafe reading. It was raining outside, the kind that made people linger longer over coffee. Then someone sat across from me. She looked familiar, but I couldn't place her. You're Adam, right? I froze. My name hadn't been spoken out loud in days. I knew Clara, she said, answering a question I hadn't asked. And I know everything that happened. Her name was Emily. She was one of Clara's closest friends, the kind I had seen in photos but never met in person. Clara kept her separate from me. She never meant to fall for the other guy, Emily said. That part wasn't the plan. The plan? That word chilled me. The whole thing started as a test, she continued. But then you broke it first. Emily pulled out her phone, showed me messages between her and Clara. The timeline was worse than I thought. Clara hadn't just found the footage. She had made multiple copies, told friends, formed a silent circle, a private jury. Some had urged her to leave me quietly. Others pushed her to fight fire with fire. She chose both. She cried when she filmed the live stream, Emily said. She hated herself for it. Then Emily asked the question no one had dared to before. Do you still love her? I couldn't answer. Not because I didn't know, but because I did. That night I wrote Clara a letter. Raw, honest, ugly, beautiful. I broke us first. You didn't just cheat. You shattered with precision, and I deserved to feel it. I didn't ask for her back. I didn't ask for anything. I just told her the truth. I kept the letter in my drawer. I never mailed it, but writing it made me breathe again. Last Sunday, I heard a knock at the door. I hadn't told anyone where I moved. No address change, no posts, no hints. I opened the door. It was Clara, no suitcase, no umbrella, just her, soaked in rain, eyes red. "I read your letter," she said. My chest tightened. "Emily, she must have sent it." We stood in silence. Then she whispered, "I didn't come to fix us. I came to tell you that I'm letting go of the pain." She reached into her pocket. A gold ring, mine, the one I threw away after our divorce. She placed it on the counter. "You lost it. I picked it up, not to return it, but to remember why we broke." And she left. 2 days later, another flash drive came in the mail. No note. I almost didn't open it. Inside, 4 new video files. But these weren't of me. They were of her, Clara, alone, crying, talking to the camera, talking to me, like video diaries. She recorded them in the weeks after my betrayal. The nights she couldn't sleep. The days she almost left but stayed. "I wanted you to notice me," she said in one, "but you were drifting so far away. I needed you to fight for us," she said in another, "but you surrendered first." Every second of those videos felt like a punch to the heart. Last Friday, I got a text from Emily. "Come to the Blue Orchid, 7 p.m., table for 2, don't ask questions." I showed up. She wasn't there. But Clara was. It wasn't a trap. It wasn't a date. It was closure. We talked, like humans. No yelling, no blame. We acknowledged what we both broke, what we both tried to fix, and what we failed to protect. "I don't hate you anymore," she said. "I don't hate me anymore," I replied. We didn't get back together. We hugged that night, and I felt the weight of everything lift. Not because it ended with love reborn, but because it ended with truth. We weren't good together anymore, but for a time, we were magic. And that time deserved peace. I moved cities, started journaling, not for content, not for validation, just for healing. Sometimes I walk past people and wonder about their betrayals, their quiet wars. We all carry some form of it. I'm not proud of my past, but I'm not ashamed of it anymore either. It happened, it shaped me, but it doesn't define me. I got one last letter in the mail. No return address, just 2 words inside. We grew. No name, no signature. But I knew it was from Clara, and that was the perfect ending. Not of love rekindled, but of closure earned. Because sometimes closure isn't a door slammed shut. It's one left slightly open, just enough to let the past breathe.